Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. This is your shortcut to getting really well-informed on, well, topics that genuinely matter. We do the legwork sift through the articles, the studies, our own notes, you name it, and we try to pull out those essential pieces of knowledge, those moments that make you go, aha, and hopefully stick with you. Today, we are diving deep into something I find truly fascinating. The remarkable longevity of Asian women. I mean, you hear these stats, right? Like the CDC reporting back in 2022, Asian women in the U.S. having an average life expectancy of 86.3 years. That's staggering.
It really is.
It just makes you stop and think. And it's pretty clear this isn't just a fluke of genetics, right? There's got to be more going on. Our sources are pointing towards this rich mix of, unique cultural practices, dietary habits that are really deeply ingrained, and some very thoughtful lifestyle choices. So our mission for you today is to unpack that, to pull out those actionable insights, the sort of secrets, if you like, that you could genuinely think about bringing into your own life. And to help us navigate all this, I'm joined by our expert, who, as you know, has this amazing knack for synthesizing all sorts of information and connecting the dots in a way that just makes it all click. I'm really curious about what we're going to uncover. So, all right, let's get into it. Let's unpack this fascinating deep dive into Asian women's longevity secrets.
Thanks. It really is a privilege to dig into this topic. What's so captivating, I think, isn't just the numbers, impressive as they are. It's how these seemingly simple, almost understated daily practices, how they weave together over time, consistently. And they create such a profound, measurable impact. It's not just about, adding years to life, but really enhancing the quality of those years, maintaining vitality, purpose, well into older age.
Yeah.
It really serves as this powerful example of holistic well-being, kind of in action.
Absolutely. And when we talk longevity, diet, it always seems to be the first place we land. But what our sources are suggesting here is that for Asian women, it's maybe not just about avoiding the bad stuff like we often focus on. What's the sort of fundamental philosophy behind their dietary approach? What makes it so effective for, sustained health?
That's a really crucial distinction. The core idea behind many traditional Asian diets, it seems, is fundamentally about balance and nutrient intensity. It's less about strict calorie counting or, completely banning whole food groups.
Okay.
If you break it down, these diets are heavily centered around plants. So you're talking a huge variety of vegetables, legumes, things like lentils and beans, and whole grains like rice are often staples. Then you've got fish and soy featuring very prominently too, offering these great lean protein sources. It's just a foundational approach that really prioritizes whole, often unprocessed ingredients.
So a lot of whole foods.
Exactly. And what's also key, and this is maybe a big difference from many typical Western eating patterns, is how meat is consumed. It's not necessarily absent, not at all, but it's typically eaten in much smaller amounts. Think about stir fries or maybe broths, where the meat is almost like a flavoring or just a smaller part of the dish, alongside a really generous amount of vegetables and maybe some rice or noodles.
Right, not the main event necessarily.
Precisely. It's not about deprivation. It's more of a strategic approach that naturally leads to meals that are really packed with nutrients, but often lower in overall calories. And you don't feel hungry. Plus, the cooking methods themselves are important. Quick stir frying, steaming, fermentation. These tend to preserve nutrients better than, say, deep frying or heavy roasting sometimes. Take something like kimchi, the traditional Korean fermented cabbage.
Yeah.
It's absolutely loaded with probiotics. Great for gut health, which we now know is just foundational for overall immunity and well-being.
Right, the gut microbiome connection.
Exactly. So it creates this kind of synergy. Variety gives you a broad spectrum of vitamins and minerals, and the balance helps avoid excesses of things like saturated fat or refined sugar.
That distinction between quantity and strategic consumption is really interesting. It reframes it. So for someone listening, maybe feeling a bit overwhelmed, but wanting to translate these ideas into their own kitchen, what specific practical habits could we actually start adopting, like today?
Okay, yeah, there are definitely several things we can integrate pretty seamlessly. First, and maybe the most impactful, is to really embrace vegetable-forward meals.
Vegetable forward, okay.
Yeah, this means making vegetables the absolute star of the plate, not just, that little pile of peas on the side.
Guilty as charged sometimes.
We all are. But think about consciously increasing your intake of leafy greens, spinach, bok choy, kale, and then a whole rainbow of other colorful produce. bell peppers, carrots, sweet potatoes, broccoli.
So variety matters, too.
Huge variety. And you can sneak them in everywhere, really.
Yeah.
Breakfast, stir some spinach or mushrooms into your eggs, add berries to your oatmeal or yogurt.
Mm.
Lunch, aim for half your plate to be a big salad or maybe some roasted root vegetables. Dinner, again, fill at least half that plate with veggies steamed, stir-fried, roasted, and let the protein play more of a supporting role.
Okay.
The goal is to make it feel natural, enjoyable. Explore different vegetables, different ways of cooking them. Find what you like.
So it's not just about forcing more vegetables down, but finding ways to actually celebrate them and explore all the different ways you can use them. Makes sense. And protein. How does that fit into this more vegetable-forward picture?
Right, protein's still crucial. The second key habit here is to incorporate more fish and soy-based proteins while consciously dialing back on, say, heavy red meat consumption.
Okay. Fish and soy.
Yeah. Fish, especially the oily kinds like salmon, mackerel, sardines, they're packed with omega-3 fatty acids. You hear about EPA and DHA all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They're just so important for heart health, brain function, and crucially, reducing inflammation throughout the body.
Mm.
And our sources often point out that many Western diets are quite low in these.
Right.
Then you have soy, things like tofu, tempeh, edamame beans. These offer complete plant-based proteins. They have all 9 essential amino acids. But without the saturated fat you often get with red meat.
Tofu gets a bad rap sometimes, but it's versatile.
Incredibly versatile. It just soaks up flavor. And tempeh, which is fermented whole soybeans, has this great nutty flavor, a shumer texture, plus you get probiotic benefits from the fermentation.
Ah, interesting.
So really about diversifying your protein sources, moving beyond just chicken breast or steak every night and reaping the benefits from fish and plants too.
And I'm guessing a huge part of actually doing all this, making these balanced meals happen consistently. It probably comes back to something pretty basic, doesn't it? Something we all know we should do more of.
You are absolutely right. And that brings us straight to the third crucial habit. Cooking at home more often.
Do it.
It's profoundly powerful, though. It's a real lever for change. You look at research from places like the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health and countless others. They consistently show that cooking at home drastically reduces your intake of excessive salt, hidden sugars, unhealthy fats, all the stuff that's often packed into restaurant meals or those ultra-processed, ready-made foods.
Right. You just don't know what's in it sometimes.
Exactly. When you cook at home, you have total control. You choose the ingredients, the oils you use, how much salt or sugar goes in, the portion sizes, the cooking methods, everything. It's not just about saving money, although it usually does that too. It's about actively nourishing your body with food you've prepared intentionally.
But time. That's the big barrier for so many people.
Absolutely. And that's where strategies like simple meal prepping come in. You don't have to cook elaborate meals every night, even just chopping vegetables on a Sunday, cooking a big batch of brown rice or quinoa.
Prepping components.
Exactly. It makes throwing together a healthy home-cooked meal during a busy week so much easier. It really empowers you to be the gatekeeper of your own nutrition.
That's a great way to put it, being the gatekeeper. Okay, so diet forms this really robust foundation. It sets the stage for overall well-being. But our sources also dig into something equally vital, maybe sometimes less tangible, the power of human connection.
Yes, absolutely. If we really want to connect all these pieces, look at the bigger picture of longevity. One aspect that's often overlooked when we focus purely on physical health is the profound, undeniable impact of our relationships, our social ties. It's not just about, feeling happy or having people around. There's a deep physiological connection here. Actively socializing, having meaningful connections, it actually reduces chronic stress. And we know chronic stress is just this major silent contributor to so many health problems, cardiovascular disease, weakened immunity, even cognitive decline over time.
Wow. Reduces stress physiologically.
Yes. And strong connections foster mental resilience. They help us cope better when things get tough.
Yeah.
And they promote emotional well-being, which is intrinsically linked to physical health. You can't really separate them.
Okay.
You look at research from places like the Mayo Clinic and many others. They consistently show that people with stronger, more robust social networks tend to live healthier lives and longer lives too.
And what's the mechanism there? How does talking to a friend actually make you healthier?
Well, it's fascinating. Social interaction can trigger the release of beneficial neurochemicals. Oxytocin is a famous one, sometimes called the love hormone or bonding hormone.
Right.
Oxytocin has been shown to do things like lower blood pressure, reduce inflammation markers, and promote feelings of calm and well-being. Beyond the chemicals, though, having a strong support network means you have people to lean on during difficult times, people to celebrate successes with, and, maybe just as importantly, people who can gently encourage healthier behaviors.
Like having a workout buddy.
Exactly. If your friends exercise, you're more likely to. If your family eats well, it makes it easier for you too. These interactions act like a buffer against the physical toll of stress. They provide practical help, emotional support. It's a protective factor for mind and body. Plus, just engaging with others keeps our brains active, stimulated. It helps ward off loneliness and isolation, which are increasingly recognized as really serious health risks, almost on par with things like smoking or obesity.
That's incredible. So it really underscores that it's not just about being social in a sort of superficial, lots of acquaintances way. It's about cultivating meaningful, deeper connections that actually impact our biology. How do we actually do that? Foster those deeper bonds when life feels so busy and sometimes fragmented?
You hit the nail on the head. Meaningful. That's the key. One core habit is to consciously cultivate meaningful relationships by actively carving out quality, intentional time for friends and family.
Intentional time.
Yes, this isn't about just passively scrolling through their updates on social media. It's about dedicated presence. Maybe it's a regular family dinner night where phones are put away. Maybe it's a scheduled weekly video call with a friend who lives far away. Maybe it's a shared hobby you do together consistently. The key is the intention and the consistency. Making these interactions a real priority in your schedule, like you would a doctor's appointment or an important meeting. It signals to yourself and to them that these connections matter.
Okay, putting it on the calendar.
It sounds simple, but it works. Another powerful habit is to engage in group activities. This provides a more structured but still natural way to broaden your social circle or deepen existing ties.
Like joining a club.
Exactly. Join a book club. Sign up for that fitness class you've been eyeing. Volunteer for a cause you really care about. Participate in local community or cultural events.
Right.
These activities give you instant shared purpose, common ground. It makes it easier to connect with people beyond just surface-level chat. You build a genuine sense of community. When you're united by a common interest or working towards a shared goal, the bonds you form can be incredibly strong and lasting. And that contributes massively to that sense of belonging we all need for good mental and physical health.
I really like that idea of shared purpose. It kind of takes the pressure off just trying to randomly make friends, you know? It gives you something to connect over.
Precisely. It removes some of that initial awkwardness. And then to really deepen those bonds, whether they're new or old, the third habit is to share stories and experiences.
Okay, tell me more about that.
This is where real depth in relationships happens. It's moving beyond the "how are you, fine" exchange. It involves sharing personal anecdotes, maybe vulnerabilities, actively listening when others share their life stories, creating shared memories by doing new things together. It builds understanding, empathy. These shared narratives, these collective memories, they're like the glue that holds relationships, families, communities together. It's the difference between just knowing someone's name and really having a sense of their journey, their perspective. And that kind of deeper connection is what truly buffers us against life's inevitable stresses. It builds trust and belonging on a really fundamental level.
It's clear how vital these social connections are for managing stress, which leads us perfectly into the next secret from our deep dives, which is all about directly managing stress through deliberate lifestyle choices. I mean, let's face it, we live in a pretty high-pressure world. This point really resonates for, I think, a lot of us listening. What's the core idea here?
Yeah, the core idea is really about being proactive. It's recognizing that managing stress isn't just something you do when you feel overwhelmed. It's an ongoing practice that contributes significantly to longevity and overall well-being. Our sources often highlight that in many Asian cultures, or at least traditionally, there's sometimes a stronger emphasis on work-life balance. Or, when feasible, the option of early retirement is embraced more readily. Now, this isn't just about personal preference. It can be seen as a sort of strategic, culturally embedded approach to actively reduce chronic stress.
Right.
I mean, science is overwhelming. Chronic stress is insidious. It's directly linked to major health problems, heart disease, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes. It weakens the immune system, contributes to depression. The list goes on.
It really takes a physical toll.
A huge physical toll.
Yeah.
So by minimizing this constant physiological on-alert state, they're actively protecting their bodies and minds from its corrosive effects. Stress literally ages us at a cellular level. You can even see it in things like telomere length, which is a biomarker of biological aging.
Wow, so less stress, potentially slower aging at a cellular level.
That's the implication, yes. And this often connects to a perhaps different cultural perspective on work versus personal life. In some Asian societies, there can be a greater collective emphasis on family time, community involvement, personal well-being, seeing these as integral parts of a good life, not just things you squeeze in around a relentless career focus.
A different set of priorities, maybe.
Potentially, yes.
Mm.
And whether that manifests as choosing early retirement if possible, or simply structuring daily life with more balance, it allows for more periods of rest, reflection, and recovery. And those periods are absolutely essential. They're when the body repairs itself, when we process emotions, when we maintain the mental equilibrium that underpins long-term health. It's recognizing that constant pressure, without breaks, eventually leads to breakdown. Deliberate decompression isn't a luxury, it's a necessity for sustainable vitality.
That's a really significant point about cultural perspectives, and it might feel like a big leap for many of us listening, especially if early retirement isn't on the cards or drastically changing careers isn't feasible right now. So that raises the big question: what can we do right now within our current lives to actively manage stress based on these principles?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And yes, there are absolutely practical habits you can embrace, even with demanding schedules. First, it really starts with reassessing your priorities to consciously find a better balance between work and personal life.
Okay, easier said than done sometimes.
Absolutely. But one concrete step is maybe doing a sort of time audit. Where are your hours actually going? Be honest with yourself. Then, identify areas where you can set firmer boundaries. Can you delegate certain tasks? Can you practice saying no more often to things that don't align with your core values or simply overload you?
Mm-hmm. Setting boundaries.
Crucial. And it's about consciously carving out and protecting time for yourself and the people or activities that truly matter to you outside of work. What brings you joy? What recharges you? A hobby, quiet time, family dinner. Make those things non-negotiable entries in your weekly schedule.
Treat them like important appointments.
Exactly. It's not necessarily about doing less overall, but more about doing more of what genuinely refills your tank.
Yeah.
Second, incorporating mindfulness techniques into your daily routine. This can be incredibly powerful.
Things like meditation.
Yes, meditation, yoga, tai chi. These aren't just trendy wellness fads. They are ancient practices, and modern science, from places like the Cleveland Clinic, confirms their benefits for managing daily stress. These practices train your mind to focus on the present moment. They help reduce rumination, that endless loop of negative thoughts.
Oh, yeah, the hamster wheel.
Exactly. And they help activate the body's parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest system. It counteracts the fight-or-flight stress response. And you don't need hours. Even short bursts, 10 or 15 minutes a day of focused deep breathing, using a guided meditation app, doing some gentle stretching. It can make a profound difference. There are tons of free resources out there. It's about creating a little mental sanctuary for yourself each day.
So consistency over duration, maybe? Especially at the start?
Very much so. Build the habit first. And building on that idea of creating space, the third habit is to consciously allow yourself breaks from high-pressure environments whenever possible.
Taking breaks. Sounds simple, but we often don't do it.
We really don't.
Yeah.
But the impact on sustained focus, productivity, and just general well-being is huge. Whether it's literally stepping away from your desk for a 5-minute walk outside, taking a moment to stretch and look away from the screen, or even just properly disconnecting from emails and notifications during your lunch break, these intentional pauses are crucial for recharging your mental and emotional batteries. They prevent burnout. They actually improve focus when you return to the task. Research on microbreaks shows they can significantly lift mood and attention. It's about remembering you're not a machine. Regular periods of disengagement are vital for mental clarity and physical health. A proper lunch break away from your workspace, game changer for the afternoon.
That's such a powerful reminder. Small pauses, strategically placed, can have a massive ripple effect. Okay, so these stress management techniques are all about proactively maintaining our overall health, which flows perfectly into our fourth key insight: the importance of taking the reins through proactive health monitoring.
Yes, you've really hit on a vital point there. It's not enough to just react when something goes wrong with our health. A truly proactive, preventative approach is absolutely critical for genuine longevity. This is where that fourth secret comes in strong. Our sources suggest that many Asian women consistently make health a top priority. It's something that's often openly discussed: nutrition, fitness strategies, maybe even supplements within families, among friends.
So it's not a taboo subject.
Not typically, no.
Yeah.
It's more like a sustained active attention to well-being that's just woven into daily life. And this mindset, this culture of awareness, leads directly to more timely interventions and preventative care. It means potential issues are often caught earlier before they escalate into something serious or chronic. It's essentially a culture of vigilance, informed self-care, and often collaboration with healthcare providers.
Vigilance and collaboration. I like that.
Yeah, it means health isn't just something you think about once a year at your physical. It's an ongoing conversation, influencing daily choices, what you eat, how you move. It encourages a deeper understanding of your own body and what it needs. People might be more attuned to subtle changes and more willing to seek advice early on. And this continuous feedback loop, combined with actually addressing concerns promptly, that's incredibly powerful for sustained health over decades. It's really about staying ahead of the curve, understanding that early detection dramatically improves outcomes for so many conditions, from certain cancers to heart disease.
It sounds like really taking active ownership, being an informed participant in your own health journey, like you mentioned earlier. So what are the practical steps? How can listeners start being more proactive in this way?
Exactly. It's all about empowerment, becoming your own primary health advocate. The first key habit, and it might sound basic, but it's crucial, schedule and diligently attend regular health checkups and screenings.
The annual physical, the screenings.
Yes, consistency is everything here. Don't put off that annual physical. Don't skip age-appropriate screenings like mammograms, pap smears, colonoscopies, or routine blood work to check cholesterol, blood sugar, etc. These appointments are specifically designed for early detection, catching problems when they are most treatable, when outcomes are best. Think of it like preventative maintenance for your body, your most valuable asset. Your doctor establishes a baseline, tracks changes over time. These visits are vital opportunities to discuss any concerns, big or small, and adjust your health plan as needed.
Okay, diligence with the checkups. What else?
Second, it's reasonable to explore supplements that may benefit your health, but, and this is a huge caveat, do it wisely.
The supplement world. It can be confused.
Very confusing. Things like omega-3s, we talked about their anti-inflammatory benefits for heart and brain. Vitamin D is another big one, crucial for bones, immune function, even mood. Some traditional Asian wellness practices also incorporate specific herbs or adaptogens.
Right.
However, and I really want to stress this always consult with a healthcare provider first. Your doctor, or maybe a registered dietitian.
Why is that so critical?
Because supplements aren't benign. They're not universally beneficial. They can interact with medications you're already taking. They might not be necessary or even safe for your specific health situation. The NIH's Office of Dietary Supplements strongly advises this consultation.
Okay.
Your provider can help determine if you actually need a supplement based on blood work or diet analysis, recommend an appropriate dosage, and ensure you choose a reputable brand. It turns supplement use from a potentially risky guessing game into an informed, safe strategy tailored to you.
That's a really important distinction. Always talk to your doctor first.
Okay.
What's the third step for being proactive?
Absolutely. The third habit is to stay informed about new research and legitimate trends in health and fitness.
Keeping up to date.
Yes, but critically. This doesn't mean jumping on every wellness fad you see on social media or buying into every marketing claim. It means engaging with reliable, evidence-based sources. Maybe subscribe to newsletters from reputable health institutions. Follow credentialed experts, doctors, registered dietitians, certified trainers who emphasize science. Listen to trusted health podcasts like this one, The Deep Dive, where we focus on breaking down research and expert analysis.
Right. Credible sources.
Being knowledgeable empowers you. You become your own best advocate. You can ask more informed questions when you see your doctor. You can understand treatment options better. You can make daily choices that align with the most current, credible understanding of how to support your well-being. It fosters this sense of personal agency over your health journey rather than just passively receiving information or waiting for problems to arise.
That idea of taking agency is fantastic, and it really connects this personal responsibility for health with maybe a broader cultural perspective.
Yeah.
Which brings us to our final secret, and it's one that feels in some ways quite profound. In so many Western cultures, aging is often something feared, something to fight against, maybe even hidden away or medicalized. But the perspective here seems refreshingly different, doesn't it?
It truly is. And this last secret offers, I think, a deeply profound and genuinely refreshing perspective on the whole process of aging. In many traditional Asian cultures, aging isn't just tolerated, it's often actively celebrated.
Yeah.
It's seen not as a decline, but as a natural stage of life imbued with wisdom, accumulated experience, and inherent dignity.
Dignity.
Yes. Elders are typically deeply respected. They often hold a revered central place within families and the wider community. Plus, the prevalence of multi-generational households in many cultures means older individuals frequently live with or very close to their children and grandchildren. This provides this incredible built-in network of emotional, practical, and often financial support.
Strong safety net.
A very strong safety net. It creates this powerful sense of security, of belonging, and critically, of continued purpose for older people. They aren't sidelined. They remain integral, valued members of the family unit, often contributing in significant ways, like with childcare or passing down traditions.
Right.
Now, contrast that with the potential isolation or feelings of irrelevance that can sometimes happen in cultures where nuclear families are more the norm, and elders might live far from their adult children, perhaps even in institutional settings.
Yeah, it can be very different.
When you have that built-in supportive social system, when your contributions are valued throughout your entire life, it significantly mitigates the risks of loneliness, depression, and purposelessness that can sadly accompany aging elsewhere. This cultural framework fosters a deep sense of belonging, continuity, intergenerational connection, all incredibly beneficial for mental and emotional well-being, which, as we've discussed, directly impacts physical health and longevity.
So it creates an environment where aging is seen more as a journey of continued growth and contribution.
Exactly. Rather than one of withdrawal and decline. And you see this reflected in studies of blue zones, those areas around the world with high concentrations of centenarians. Things like community integration and strong family ties consistently emerge as major factors in their extended, healthy lifespans.
Oh, okay, so this isn't just a nice philosophical idea. It has real, tangible impacts on health outcomes. But for those of us listening whose cultural background might be different, maybe we live in a society that doesn't always view aging with that same reverence. What does this mean for us? How can we shift our own thinking or actions to benefit from this perspective?
That's a great question, because we can absolutely draw meaningful, actionable lessons, regardless of our specific cultural context. The first habit we can cultivate is to actively shift our own mindset to view aging as a stage of life filled with wisdom and dignity.
Change how we think about it personally.
Yes, it requires consciously challenging those negative stereotypes about aging that are so pervasive. The idea that it's all downhill after a certain age. Instead, actively encourage yourself to reflect on the positives, the accumulated experience, the knowledge gained, the broader perspective that comes with time. See it as an opportunity for mentorship, for lifelong learning, for sharing your stories, for continued personal growth. This internal reframing can dramatically impact your outlook. It can reduce age-related anxiety and positively influence your emotional health, building resilience as you navigate different life stages.
Okay, mindset shift first. What's next?
Secondly, focus on maintaining strong family ties. Even if your family structure isn't multi-generational under one roof, or even if you live far apart. Prioritize frequent, intentional communication. Schedule those regular phone calls. Make time for video chats. Make a conscious effort to plan visits or shared experiences when possible.
So effort and intention are key, even at a distance.
Absolutely. The emphasis is on fostering those strong emotional bonds, providing mutual support, whether that's listening, offering practical help, or just sharing the everyday ups and downs of life. Physical closeness is great, but it's not the only way to nurture these vital connections. Consistency and intentionality in communication are paramount. These relationships are a continuous source of love, support, and feeling valued.
That makes a lot of sense. Technology helps bridge distances now, too.
It really does. And a third related habit is to engage in activities that bring purpose and joy throughout your entire life, but especially as you age.
Finding purpose.
Yes, this can mean anything.
Yeah.
Mentoring younger people, volunteering for a cause you're passionate about, joining community groups, pursuing new hobbies, finally dedicating time to that passion project you put on hold years ago. The key insight here is that continued engagement and feeling like you're contributing something meaningful are vital for mental and emotional well-being in later life. It combats social isolation, provides a sense of meaning, stimulates your brain when you feel needed, valued, actively involved. It fuels your spirit, keeps your mind sharp, contributes to a vibrant, fulfilling existence, whatever your age.
Yeah.
It's about finding that spark, that reason to get up in the morning. The Japanese have that wonderful concept, ikigai.
Ikigai, yeah, a reason for being.
Exactly. Finding what gives your life meaning and joy. That's incredibly powerful for longevity.
Wow. What an incredible range of insights. It's so clear these aren't just, separate tips. They're all interconnected pieces of a truly holistic approach to living well for longer. And our sources really tie this all together nicely by connecting it back to the broader scientific evidence, right?
Yep. Indeed, they do. Because while we know genetics certainly play a role, they set a certain potential. This deep dive really hammers home the point that our lifestyle choices often have a far greater and certainly more immediate influence on our health and longevity.
Lifestyle trumps genetics, often.
In many respects, yes, particularly when it comes to health span, the number of years lived in good health, free from debilitating disease. The science consistently backs this up. Look at the famous Okinawa centenarian study, for example. They meticulously studied one of the world's longest-lived populations. And what did they find? The critical importance of their specific diet very high in vegetables, especially sweet potatoes, lean protein, low in processed foods. Also, regular, natural physical activity built into daily life, not necessarily intense gym workouts. And crucially, strong social connections and community support.
Right, the Okinawan example. It's a classic. And these aren't just charming cultural quirks or isolated anecdotes. These are habits with a really robust scientific basis. They demonstrably impact health at multiple levels. Everything from cellular health, like maintaining the length of our telomeres, reducing oxidative stress, to enhancing immune function, preventing chronic diseases like heart disease, diabetes, certain cancers. So the message is incredibly empowering. While we can't, choose our parents or change our genes, we have tremendous power, often more than we realize, to influence our health outcomes and extend not just our lifespan, but our health span through the conscious choices we make every single day.
That is incredibly empowering and actionable, which is what we love here on the Deep Dive. So let's really nail this down for our listeners. If someone's feeling inspired right now, maybe a little overwhelmed but wanting to start, what are some immediate, tangible, maybe even small steps they could take, like this week? Okay, let's make it super practical. Small steps, big impact over time. First, thinking about diet. Focus on meal prep with purpose. Maybe just dedicate 1 hour this week. Plan a couple of meals that deliberately feature more vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins. Try making a big stir fry with lots of greens and tofu. Or roast a tray of colorful veggies to add to lunches. Even just adding 1 extra serving of vegetables to your dinner each night is a fantastic start.
1 extra serving, manageable.
Totally manageable. Second, for social connection, actively schedule social time. Look at your week. Make it a non-negotiable habit to call a loved one just to chat. Meet a friend for a quick coffee. Or maybe take 10 minutes to research a local group or club that sparks your interest. Even a 15-minute meaningful chat counts. Prioritize it.
Put it in the diary.
Put it in the diary. Third, stress management. Incorporate a micro-mindfulness practice. Just 5 or 10 minutes a day. Try a deep breathing exercise when you wake up or before bed. Use a free guided meditation app during your commute or lunch break. Just sit quietly and observe your breath for a few minutes. Consistency trumps duration, especially at first.
Micro-mindfulness, I like that.
Fourth, staying active. Integrate low-impact movement. Forget hitting the gym for hours if that's not your thing. Commit to a brisk 30-minute walk most days. Take the stairs instead of the lift. Try a gentle online yoga class at home. Find something you actually enjoy so it feels less like a chore and more like nourishing yourself.
Find the joy in movement.
Exactly. And finally, that perspective on aging. Celebrate a personal milestone, big or small. Take a moment this week to genuinely reflect on an achievement you're proud of, a challenge you overcame, or a piece of wisdom you've gained recently. Actively embrace aging as this ongoing journey of growth and contribution, not as something to dread.
These are brilliant. So clear, so actionable. Anyone can pick one of those and start. It really feels like the bottom line here is, well, the secrets to longevity aren't really secrets at all, are they? They're not hidden behind some complex formula or expensive gadget. They seem to be these practices deeply embedded in everyday life, often centered around things like community, balance, simplicity, and intention.
That sums it up perfectly. By thoughtfully adopting and adapting these habits inspired by the incredible longevity we see in groups like Asian women, you really can create this robust foundation for better health, significantly reduce stress, and ultimately greater happiness and a stronger sense of purpose in your life. And remember, longevity isn't just about stretching out the years. It's profoundly about living those years better, with more vitality, more clarity, more connection at every single stage of life. It's about optimizing your health span right alongside your lifespan. Hashtag tag tagged outro.
What an inspiring session, and so incredibly practical, too. This deep dive today really drives home that profound impact of what might seem like small, consistent choices, just layered together day after day, year after year. So, for you, our listener, as you head back into your week, here's a little something to think about, a provocative thought perhaps. What one habit, just pick one from everything we discussed today, what one habit will you choose to start incorporating this week? What's your first step on unlocking that path to a healthier, more fulfilling, and more vital life?
Thank you so much for sharing all your incredible insights today. This has been genuinely enlightening, and it's definitely given me a lot to personally reflect on.
It was my absolute pleasure. It's always rewarding to explore these powerful connections and hopefully empower listeners with knowledge they can actually use.
And a huge thank you to all of you for joining us on the deep dive. We really encourage you to keep exploring these principles, see how they fit into your own life. Until next time, keep digging deeper.